Let's talk about this mysterious promise. It's really puzzling. Little Flower felt that cold don't touch me attitude. Maybe she wanted to save face. As she left, Little Flower reluctantly apologized. Little Zin met the god of poverty after buying cotton candy. This time, the god of poverty had her sights set on Little Flower, and realizing she didn't want to leave, Little Zin yanked her belt to a quieter spot for a chat. Little Flower was completely clueless as Little Zin drove her to a deserted area, insisting she leave Little Flower to prepare for another round of male rivalry. However, the god of poverty declined this time, and seeing soft tactics weren't working, Little Zin was ready to get tough. Little Flower was skeptical, but figured monsters might just be different from humans. She asked Little Zin if the god of poverty could help, as he's important, and she just wanted to see her mom again. Little Zin agreed after thinking. Soon, they arrived at that sparkly place. After helping out, the god of poverty could stick around Little Flower, and the entrance to hell was a real jaw-dropper. The god of poverty vanished at the mysterious crossroad after a kick, and though puzzled, Little Zin followed quickly. This scene was perfectly caught by the little roach in the restroom, who then passed the news to Jay. Little Flower's movements seemed to be closely monitored by someone, and while they made it to hell without a hitch, Little Zin was left in a daze. To meet the departed, they needed ridiculously in hell. Little Flower found her battered father before her mother. Little Flower was speechless. The god of poverty said she was half dead. The situation was delicate. Her father clearly struggled with debts. When they exited, they met a janitor. It was Little Flower's mom. Mom's jaw dropped at the sight of her daughter, because everyone in this place has one outcome. On hearing her daughter was alive, she snapped out of her earlier gloom. Turns out, working here was harder than on Earth. Time was non-existent in hell, and even memories from their life would fade, but they hadn't had a chance to. Just as they were getting into it, a bunch of evil spirits spotted them. Without a second thought, they bolted, with Mom even managing to escape back to Earth. Just as they zipped out, sunlight spilled the tea on them. The demons from hell caught up, threatening to drag them back down there. Little Zin borrowed someone else's motorcycle, but surprise, the demons from hell were hot on their heels. At that moment, the king of hell arrived calmly, as the day can't escape him. He even boarded a luxurious hearse, without using powers. He was just curious about how much trouble they could cause. Meanwhile, Little Zin was a sweaty mess, not even sure where he found the courage to face off against them. Mom begged them to let her go since her only target was herself. In Little Flower's eyes, how could they work so hard to escape only to go back? Little Flower wouldn't hand over her mom, no matter what, leaving Little Zin utterly baffled. He only reacted when the king of hell's entourage caught up, leaving the latter helpless since deities must drive gracefully. In a thrilling final chase, they escaped the king of hell's convoy, with Little Zin screaming loudly in excitement. But the excitement didn't last long. They were soon chased down again, and the demons were ruthless without a hint of mercy. They swung their meteor hammers left and right like it was a demolition job. Little Zin had years of driving under his belt, but it was a whole new level of chaos. Facing these rabid demons didn't faze him until the king of hell showed up, causing sweat to bead. The king of hell's words left Little Zin stunned, and then, out of nowhere, the demons attacked again, sending Little Flower flying. Thank goodness Little Zin yanked her back just in. They even made a dramatic 180-degree turn, but just as they were about to chase, a car blocked their path. Before leaving, Little Zin bid farewell, angering the demons, who urged the king of hell to find them in 100 ways. Meanwhile, they were thrilled to escape the king of hell's grasp, but the last scene in this world left Little Flower spellbound. It turned out that the bizarre phrase Little Flower dreamt about was now spilling out of Little Zin's mouth. It appears that Little Zin has finally achieved her innermost desire, with the crows in the sky fluttering and celebrating joyfully. Little Flower's mom emitted a strong death odor. Crows swarmed as if targeted, and the king of hell squad followed. At this point, the king of hell was ready to wrap up this fiasco, poised to drag them back down to hell. Just as things seemed dire, a sports car suddenly zoomed in, thanks to the watchful mushroom tree. Upon hearing Little Flower was dragged to hell, the tree quickly rallied the crew, but before they could show off, the car was flipped over. Faced with the demons, Frogger's legs turned to jelly, and despite being monsters, they had zero combat ability. Ultimately, they fell victim to demon bullying. Everyone genuinely wanted to help Little Flower, but their well-meaning was of no use at this moment. Little Luck was still daydreaming about appearing strong, wanting to challenge the King of Hell to a real man duel. Little Flower rushed to stop her from hurting Mom, but this is no joke, the King of Hell wouldn't understand. No matter how Little Flower protested, she couldn't change the King of Hell's mind. Mom then pleaded with the adults to show mercy. Mom said she'd be willing to return to Hell, but the King of Hell didn't explain the consequences of going back. He merely commanded his subordinates to head back, giving them a bit of time for a farewell, perhaps feeling a bit compassionate about Little Flower parting with her mother. Mom wished for Little Flower to live a long life, meeting all sorts of people and enjoying tasty food. After all, how wonderful it is to be alive. But right now, all Little Flower wanted was to be with her mom. Life and death are just natural cycles. No one can slip away from that rule, especially when Mom finally seemed content. Then, Mom expressed her gratitude to Little Luck for being with Little Flower, and they finally left this world in the King of Hell's hearse. The next day, everything returned to normal, with Little Luck biking Little Flower to the river for some fishing. Little Flower seemed to view this place differently. Later, unexpectedly, she met her father at home, who'd cleared debts and came to take her to Tokyo. However, Dad might not realize Little Flower had fallen in love with this small town, and while packing up, the two fell silent. Their time together made Little Flower feel the warmth of home, while Little Luck felt a pang of sadness at her soon departure. Before saying goodbye, Little Flower was already tearful. It felt like a fateful parting, leaving them deeply moved. Remember, before she left, Little Flower made a promise to Little Luck. Subscribe to our channel for more hilarious stories and amazing content.